fields around me.
I'll let my fist do the talking.
Welcome to the arena.
Arena of Valor.
We find ourselves near the ending point as the journey to Sao Paulo is coming even so much closer to a close. Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Good morning, and welcome to Intel Esports Arena, where we have Week 7, Day number 1 of the Valor Series, brought to you by Facebook Gaming. My name is Bill Jump Carter. I'm joined with me by Mr. Thomas TJ Baldeschweiler and Paul Inverum Todd Kill. Gentlemen, how are we feeling today?
Patch day!
It is patch day!
I'm super psyched because everything's different, and this is going to be an insane day of esports because of it.
Things are spooky. It's the Halloween season. Things are
not-
changing.
It's not
We're both
spooky
wearing
yet.
dark, mysterious colors.
Like a stormy night. There's about to be a storm on the Antares battlefield, and her name is Talanis, and I'm excited. Sorry.
Foreshadowing!
It's great.
All right, don't forget, guys, we've been talking about it all season, but Arena of Valor is coming to the Nintendo Switch. Actually, JK, it's here. It's ready for you to play. And, you know, make sure that you link your account from the mobile device to your Nintendo eShop, so that way you can get all the delightful gold to get everybody on the Arena of Valor roster except for Grak, because Grak sucks.
You can actually add me on the Nintendo Switch as Esports T because I forgot the J.
Real story?
Did you actually?
Yeah. There's no rename option.
Well,
on the
I'm
Switch,
just
so.
Jump, so that's as simple and as easy as it goes. No, there are rename vouchers on the
Really?
Switch. There is indeed.
Oh.
I actually searched it up. Not only to that, but you can, make your characters even more beautiful. Specifically, Jinnar with the new Jinnar skin. It is spooky, it's Halloween, and it's the Dead Worm.
It's really cool.
I'm excited for it because it looks scary, and intimidation value actually matters a lot when you've got a big AoE ultimate like Jinnar does.
Oh yeah, I mean you add the exuberance. Look at all his skills. They're so look at that. That's actually you're in like a nether vortex of
That's
doom.
a gameplay advantage.
Yeah, that
I
is
don't
actually
care.
that's the mental game. Look at that. You just dive in towers with impunity.
I also need to note that it is actually cubes that is circling around him. It's not actually spheres. So from the pure geometrical aspect,
They have
of
sharp
it,
edges now.
There it is.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's edges. It's sharper. It's something you have to consider and keep in mind. Now, I know it's the moment we're all been waiting for. I know TJ has certainly been hyped up about this one. Let's talk about the patch notes. For those of you that are aware, if you shouldn't, you should be, because there is a large amount of changes that have come to the Antares battlefield in the form of balance changes. Now, TJ, I know there's a couple that we want to kind of highlight. Which one are you most excited to talk about, and which one do you feel is going to have the biggest impact on the battlefield today?
So the patch has already been out for, I think, a week or two over on some of the other competitive servers. So based off of that and my own opinions of the patch notes, I'm going to highlight 2 characters that you should pay attention to. Ignis now has almost constant stun in a way that will be terrifying, and Telenas now does magic damage. I was seeing during the Thailand Pro League finals, one of the Telenases was doing about a quarter of everyone's HP with every single shot of Eagle Eye, which is terrifying.
It's scary because that range is indomitable. Like she can do that damage from so far away.
It's nearly as long as the Violet, and it's a series of auto attacks.
It's pretty terrifying. I think one of the biggest changes too actually ties up on that is the idea that they're trying to make a push towards more of these side lane marksmen, which is personally something that I am a fan of. Obviously, I've been pushing for a while. So changes to Soul Reaver as well, which I think you can talk about. Changing up the assassins in the jungle there as well.
And for me, I took a look back, and I was going through the patch notes of like, oh, where are we seeing some of these higher tier heroes that we have seen on the battlefield thus far? And guys, I hate to say it, but I found Pyrrha. She's
dead.
That's all that's left of her.
Just all that's left of Pyrrha.
I'm having flashbacks to Bambi.
No, that was just Pyrrha's. That was Pyrrha's mother. That wasn't actually Pyrrha. Or
That's
maybe
not
Pyrrha
better.
was, or maybe
That's
Pyrrha
really
was
not better.
Bambi's mother, and we just didn't actually know about it. But yes, Pyrrha found herself in a little bit of a difficult, positioning. She got some hard nerfs to her.
Yeah, her healing light is less effective, and notably her nature's rally, the big AoE stuns are no longer there. So I definitely think we're going to see a lot less of Pyrrha because some of the things that made her and the Death Ball composition so effective are now gone.
So I expect to see more of that sort of fortress style now that marksmen are kind of being brought into the fore a little bit more, and the changes with the Death Ball coming, going down a little bit. So maybe traditional, more MOBA standard.
Yeah. And we actually saw some of the teams in the Thailand Pro League running several marksmen. Valheim, Lindis, join that with a more mobile, more DPS support, like someone like Annette. You can have so many damage sources on a team. It's actually terrifying.
Annette, another one of the newer heroes that we have seen, continue to rise throughout the Valor series. But with all of that action, of course, we have to have players that are playing that action. Let's go ahead and take a look at today's schedule at what we have in week number 7. There are clearly some exciting matches, as today and tomorrow will all but define the 4 teams in each region that will be going to Sao Paulo and the regional finals. Which matchup are you most excited for, TJ?
Like you said, we are defining who gets to go to Sao Paulo, and for INTZ, this is a key moment for them. If they're able to beat out Pain Gaming, they're still in the running. Without, it looks like Assassin's Crew are going to come through instead.
Yeah, they definitely have the easier matchup this time around. The other one I have to look towards is Dead Rabbit's Existence. It's our first matchup of the day, but the winner of this game secures their spot at the finals, and the loser of this game puts themselves in striking distance of other teams like Queso, which means that they're not even necessarily guaranteed that 4th place spot.
All right, well, ladies and gentlemen, as always, we want to remind you that we want to know what you think. We want to know what you feel about the Valor series. Head on over to Twitter, use that hashtag Valor series, and share your thoughts and opinions with us. We know that there are a lot of patch changes. We know that there are a lot of changes as far as including the new mode, Clone Clash, being available. Let us know what you guys think about all of those. We'll potentially bring some of those onto the broadcast and discuss it. Now, that being said, let's go ahead and take a look at our first region of the day, Europe. As we mentioned, it is a vie for 3rd and 4th place. Nova and Bubble Team have secured their spots in the regional finals. That is locked down, and now it is up to Dead Rabbits, Existence, and Team Queso to fight for those remaining 2 slots.
And Dead Rabbits are a team that has looked so good. At one point, we were labeling them as a challenger to Nova Esports in the top slot in Europe. And then it's kind of fallen off since then. So they really need to step back up, regain their strength, and maybe show that it was more than just a couple gimmicky team comps that gave them that competitive advantage early on in the season.
They need to step up right here. This is really their moment up against Existence, a team who's been inconsistent, but has had some really shining moments. Some players on that team who I think have some amazing individual skill. If they're allowed to get their comfort picks, if they're allowed to draft something that they feel good with, they are a team that is terrifying.
Well, today is going to highlight even more so of who's going to end up in that 3rd and 4th seed. Taking a look at the 2 matches that we will have today, it is Dead Rabbits versus Existence. Following that, Team Queso will take on Alliance. Now, before these matches begin, of course, we want to continue to highlight the players, the teams, and what's at stake for these matches. So let's go ahead and check in with this week's regional rivals presented by AT&T.
Welcome back with a special edition of Regional Rivals. This is our European Standing Showdown, where we're breaking down the Week 7 action and what our teams need to do to secure a spot at the finals. Let's start with the standings. As you can see, the battle for 3rd and 4th is still hotly contested. Both Existence and Dead Rabbits are on the cusp, with Team Queso hot on their heels. If one of these teams win the series 2-0, they secure themselves a spot at the regional finals. But the losing team would fall to 4th, within striking distance of Queso. Team Queso has their work cut out for them this weekend. They've been hovering around the bottom of the standings, but their recent performance against Existence showed that if presented with an opportunity, they can rise to the occasion. And they will need to rise. If they allow Alliance to take even one game in the series, they put themselves in a dire situation for their Day 2 match. Team Queso needs to 2-0 both Alliance and Dead Rabbits back to back if they want to secure a spot at Brazil. Team Queso have showed that they can rally in the late game. They have a good sense of Slayer and Dragon control. If they can up their early game to combat the aggression of Dead Rabbits, they may stand a chance. But first, they need to go through the Alliance. Recent roster changes have certainly damaged Alliance's chances, but many would still consider them Queso's equal. Does Queso have what it takes? Or will their dreams of the finals crumble like an aged Gouda?
Well, as we see, there are quite some small computations in the mix. I do have to go ahead and remind everyone that, guys, Gouda doesn't actually crumble. Paul, why, of all the cheeses we have been executing upon ourselves for 2 seasons with the greatest cheese puns, and you pick the one cheese that doesn't actually crumble?
Google lied to me. I Googled crumbly cheese, and that's honestly what feta would have been better in hindsight. But yeah, it's my bad.
TJ, do you have any thoughts on this?
I have a lot of really bad puns, but I'm not going to use any of them because he's ruined cheese puns for all of us.
He has. He has ruined them indeed.
You're all welcome. Wow, this
They're
is blessing
done.
in disguise right now.
There are no more cheese puns.
Burnt to a crisp, and it's... You hate to see it.
Yeah.
Anyways, let's go ahead and talk about our first matchup of the day. We saw all of the excitement that is happening between Dead Rabbits and Existence. While they do find themselves tied onto the roster, things are getting ever so spicy as we continue to develop and get closer to the regional finals.
And for me, these two teams are exemplary of that. Right now, they're tied. Right now, this will be, for me, the deciding factor of who comes into that slot in EU.
Yeah, this is the final step-up moment. If one of these teams 2-0s this, they're in. It's their moment. They've done it. They've shown that they rise. But...
And it's the perfect match for that.
It is, exactly.
2-0 gets you through to the regional final, and both these teams, they're tied, they're dead even, I would say, in terms of skill. This is going to be a really fun matchup.
Well, let's go ahead and talk about these rosters a little bit deeper because it's the players that are taking the battlefield that we need to make sure that we highlight. Dead Rabbits being the first one, they did make themselves very subtle, very small changes when they had the roster swap halfway through the season. Who's the standout player that we need to see show up today?
Alex P is the man. Particularly with the changes to mages in the update. If an Ignis comes through here, I would not be terribly surprised. And he has been such a star player for his team. If he doesn't show up due to the patch updates, there's definitely going to be a massive powerhouse missing from this Dead Rabbits roster.
Sometimes it feels like there's 2 Alex Ps that we see. There's Alex P who pulls 20% of his team's damage, or Alex P who pulls 40% of his team's damage. And weirdly enough, the times when he's pulling 40%, you think, oh, maybe everyone else is kind of not doing so well. No, it's because he's just going off, and those are the games that they win. I need to see him step up in a big way. If it's not Ignis, I need to see a Liliana, maybe a Jinnar. If he can pull those out, oof.
And I think a second player you have to highlight is Random, formerly known as Solo Q Victim. He's very good, but unfortunately, he's also very inconsistent. And especially as of the last few weeks, we've seen him kind of fall off. So if he's not able to recapture some of that former form, I'm very worried for him, especially because he prioritized playing a lot of the marksman characters that got indirectly sort of taken down a notch inside the jungle. We're going to see more emphasis on assassin characters due to this last update, and that may put him in a bit of a tricky situation.
All right, gentlemen, let's go ahead and flip the script and head to the other side of the battlefield. We can take a look at Dead Rabbit's opponent, Existence. Now, this is a team that it's safe to say volatile has essentially been their state of the game when you think about their positioning in the Valor series thus far. You've got Juki, Blue Triton, Chikitin, Roids, and Bamboo. I'm most interested in the mid matchup and who we're going to see show up specifically for Existence in Bamboo.
Yeah, Bamboo has a sick nasty mage. When he's able to play well, he looks radical. Unfortunately, that radical, nasty play is very inconsistent as well, and it's hard because it seems more based on character. Whereas Alex P, it doesn't matter what character he plays, sometimes he shows up, sometimes he doesn't. Bamboo, it feels like when he gets a comfort pick, he is consistently terrifying. When he doesn't get that, things look a little bit more shaky.
And the volatility that I'm talking about kind of goes in lines with that. If you think about the other mid laners across the board, he has half the KDA on average that you have coming out of Alex P. 2.8 is what Bamboo is sitting at. And so you see those instances where he does really well, but he also has those instances where he does really bad.
It's that high risk, high reward style of play. You know, I think part of the problem is too is it comes down to comfort. If he doesn't do super well right at the start, he starts to get a little bit like, I need to start performing more. I need to play a little more aggressive, and then he starts to tilt a little bit if he gets caught out, if he gets killed. So watch for that here and need to keep him safe. I'm also really watching for these side laners. If Roids and Juki can step up, they've both had really good, pretty consistent play. We saw some really like Arduin play as well last week. If we can continue to see stuff like that, if the rest of the team can rally around that, I think Existence is in a really good spot.
It's kind of an interesting position for them as an overall team, though, coming into this patch, because they're a team that feels occasionally too reliant on getting their own draft, getting their own comfort picks, and that's a very rough position to be in, heading into a game this important immediately after an uptime.
All right, gentlemen. Well, this is a match that is all but defining who will be the number 3 seed in Europe if there is a 2-0 on either one of these sides. However, both of these teams have shown greatness as well as failures in some instances. Predictions, though, who's it going to be?
I had to do a long think about this because on one hand,
a long thonk?
a long hard think. Because on one hand, I really favor Existence, but on the other hand, their inconsistency coming in, like we were talking about from this update, it may seriously throw them off. And then to counterpoint them, Dead Rabbits have looked really, really shaky, but when they look good, it's when they're incorporating meta elements and developing meta elements that the other teams don't expect. I think that's the opposite. I think that draws strength from the fact they're coming in recently off a patch. I think I still go with Existence 2-0. But it is a very shaky pledge that way.
See, I had the same thought. I was between 1-1 and 2-0 for Existence. I wasn't 100% sure. Back and forth. I think I'm going to go 1-1, but yeah, I'm going to go 1-1. I feel like they're going to continue. No, I lied. Last Existence 2-0.
Goodness, that was a second choice.
On the final moment, Existence 2-0. That's what we're going to go with.
All right, now we have to think about the draft in a lot of instances. Dead Rabbits find themselves on the blue, Existence finds themselves on the red, and while it doesn't seem like it would be that much of a difference, TJ, we have now seen with the draft phase, specifically for this competitive sense here, the timers are reduced, so players are not going to have as much time. This kind of was a ninja update in the patch notes. How that these teams have less time to talk, actually pick and ban.
Have you ever played Bop It?
Yes, I have played Bop It.
This draft is now a game of quick reactions and quick thinking. Malika.
I love it. No, the thing is, this actually shows to me what team came in with more of a set game plan. Because the team that came in with more of a set game plan, they know what they want to draft. They're going to be A-okay. If they're executing their game plan, if they're drafting correctly, they're not going to need to do too much counter response, which means they're not going to need that much time. Plug and play your heroes, have some backups, have some alternatives, go in, you should be good to go.
Let's talk about bans. Lindis is on the ban list. Dead Rabbits also get rid of Valheim. These are two characters that are very, very strong as of the patch. Violet, you'll notice, has mostly gone through. Expect that to continue. And Existence actually banning her out, I disagree with, because I think with this latest patch, she is no longer an all-powerful jungler.
I would agree, but one of the two things I want to profile is the fact that Crashed against Existence, get him out of there. Get him out of there. Pura, though, she was nerfed. Did they know she was nerfed?
It may still be just such a good core for Dead Rabbits that you want to run it. This Kreknak, though, will be first pick, will be in this matchup because they just banned out the Lindis. There are no good or 100% victory jungle characters, so you go for the Kreknak because he is the strongest jungle character in the patch that is still on the board. That Ybeneth encounter, though, I think balances it out.
I like
because that is the best side lane.
Yeah, I agree. I like this. And also having Jenner, somebody who is going to be able to tank some of that damage. If you get the exuberance off into the drone drop, will actually likely be able to survive through that initial burst, which is key.
Yes!
There's the Ignis.
The rise of the radical wizard dude with something to prove. I'm very excited for that.
Hello, kids. We're here.
Nope.
So the big question then, Ignis's power comes from his ability to cycle cooldowns. He's going to have Fire Crashes, big stun ability almost constantly off of cooldown every time he activates it with his passive. Alex P, that is a drastically different style from what he has previously run. The question is, can he make that work?
That is going to be the big question here. Obviously, new heroes sort of back into things. We're going to have these questions, but I am really looking forward to seeing how the Ignis is going to play, not only on his own, but how he's going to combo with the team. And someone like an Annette, that's going to be a great question.
Yep, the Annette comes through as well. That's going to give them set up for the AoE combos that the Ignis is looking for. The big thing
that
they
big
have
rain
to
of
do,
fire. Oh.
The big thing they have to do is protect him, though, because he's a little bit lower mobility. That's why an Arduin comes through as well. There was also a slight buff to Joker this patch. He's a little bit quicker off of using his canned laughter, and he gets an attack speed buff.
That's going to be big. So watch how the Joker's... I love the fact that they have this tanky frontliner in this Arduin, though. Over the other side, talk about the end of this draft. The Marja comes through. Royds' Marja is sick, but the Zephys...
Yeah, so the Zephyr's got a little bit tweaked. I think he's more powerful, and I think that, honestly, it was the best answer to a Kreknak, because we live now. Hello, guys. Welcome to the jungle assassin meta. I hope you enjoy your stay here, because there still are ranged characters that are good in jungle. I think Lindis is better than either of these jungle options, but with Lindis out of the pool, you may very well prefer to be running an assassin.
And this is something that we're going to have to see as a large adjustment from the players that find themselves in the jungle as well. You take a look at some of the top junglers across all three regions, they're not necessarily as versatile as what you might think. We've talked about Rocker and his difficulty sometimes to play melee junglers. We've talked about Vex and his inability to play ranged junglers in some instance. This is the Vex patch. So you find yourself in these situations where how versatile, how capable are these junglers at actually changing their playstyle now from these safer kind of backline damage threats of the marksman, now going towards these in-your-face kind of heroes that you see specifically with the Zephys and the Kreknak.
So let's go back to the draft. I talked about this pre-draft. It was a big part of my hemming and hawing on the prediction. Dead Rabbits definitely watch other regions and bring in drafts from them. This is a draft that looks straight out of the Thailand Pro League or the Chinese Taipei Pro League. It's very, very meta there, and I think if they can execute it, it is going to destroy their opponents. The question is, have Existence just drafted a composition they're comfortable with that's going to work, because Dead Rabbits are kind of floundering to find somebody else's comp?
All right, well, you heard it here from TJ. The predictions are all off the mark. The Dead Rabbits have been channeling themselves and need a 2-0 victory here now to secure themselves third place and a trip to Sao Paulo for the regional finals. Dead Rabbits versus Existence, game 1 starts now.
Game number 1, both of these teams coming into this wanting to strike early, start to establish dominance, put their rhythm on the map right now. But I agree 100% TJ with your statement about this is a draft that Dead Rabbits has seen have a lot of success. The question is can they play it? Does it really come down to their style? And I have to watch Alex P. This Ignis is going to be our big X factor.
I'm keeping an eye as well towards the late game. Both these teams' average game times are relatively short, 14 and 13 minutes. So we're not going to get past that 15-minute mark. So I'm keeping an eye on which characters are going to scale well for that late game and which characters, well, frankly, are not.
We're going to watch for that here because the Assassins don't tend to scale quite as well as the traditional marksmen. One thing I also want to note is the Ibeneth and the Marja actually seeing a little bit of a lane swap here. Traditionally, we see the Ibeneth up on that Slayer side, but we're going to have him here for these initial Dragon fights.
Yeah, and I agree with this because keeping a sustained character in the bottom lane is crucial. The Ibanez, remember, his passive allows him to heal up when walking back into the bush, so even if he loses a chimp battle, he's going to be able to refresh, rejoin the fight consistently. That
was a really nice flicker there in the mid as Randoom is under a whole lot of threat. Alex P is trying to peel for him, but that was sick. The drone drop went in, but Bamboo was there in an instant. That reaction time on the flicker was dope.
And a full rotation as well. Existence find that fight. They know they've won it, so now they try and leverage that into pressure. This is a very good choice, particularly because with Jikatin's positioning, they have a great timing on this Abyssal.
Yeah, they're going to start to set this up now, but Clamaris and the crew are starting to come in. They want to contest this. Windcuff's not going to connect. Bajauki, he's going to be the frontliner here. Oh. Nice Redwood rush, finding them. The branching out as well. Sizer, though, is in a good position. and Chiquitin just gets deleted. Randoom is there with the damage. Alex P is able to get out the heals being popped. Nicely done there from Dead Rabbits.
They win the fight regardless because they're able to separate the Jognar and absolutely melt him, and because there's no follow-up on Jauki. He found almost the ideal play there on the Yabenet. He was able to Redwood rush 3 people, branching out, group them all together, and where was the follow-up? There was none. Existence did not have anyone with damage to follow through. We talked about early game characters. I don't think they have any.
They are going to be struggling in these early fights. That, I have to say, that initiation from the Cricknack there was oh so scary. Bamboo unable to pick up that kill in the mid as well. That could have been huge for his team to help recover some of that momentum.
Yeah, now Sizer's in trouble. On the net, we're definitely seeing people know how to build a net now, which is a nice shift from last week's European Regions games.
Yes.
And I want to see if this enables us to actually see the power of the Annette, because the zoning that she offers is better than almost any other support.
Oh yeah, that Hurricane. Oh, but speaking of the zoning and everything, there we're seeing the Hurricane wall is going in, making up for missing that wind cuff there. Sizer going in, timing that perfectly, diving under the tower to push back Bamboo. Oh my!
I have Hurricane Sizer lands underneath the tower, and everyone is knocked back further, and this is so good with Ignis. The reason that combo works well is because he needs setup. Abilities like his Rain of Fire require people to be in one area that he can predict. If you say, set up your AoE ult, set up Holy Embers, we're going to knock people back into it, then you've got a duo made in heaven.
If they can execute the combo, but again, like some of these big AoE abilities, we can sometimes see the counter synergy go off. So their communication between Sizer and Alex P will need to be flawless. So that's definitely something we're going to be keeping an eye on here. As already up 3 kills to 0 and 1k gold, this is exactly where Dead Rabbits want to be. Yeah,
this is a great start for them. And I will say, once again, they have a better composition, provided they can execute it. I was talking about the combos with the Ignis. Remember, so much of his damage comes from these AoE abilities. Even his projectile Fire Crash, you're seeing it there on its new reduced cooldown, is a very, very AoE type ability. So what you're looking for is Sizer and other characters to create kind of kill zones that Alex P can then punish.
Well, we're seeing a kill zone right now as the Exuberance is going in. There's Jauki on the flank. The Nature's Realm is there as well. That it's branching. You have to set that up. But look at the kill going in there. The Dragon falls as well. But Chiquitin and Juki are still going off. The supports are alive and well. They're trying to clean up this fight. But through all of that, Dead Rabbits actually ended up stealing the Dragon.
Sizer just hovered on the side of the fight and created the ideal position. It did not matter that Random was going down. He was almost used as a front line in that fight, which was not how that comp is supposed to work, but it worked brilliantly.
Well, it just really came with that amazing follow-up that Dead Rabbits had, and the lack of follow-up that Existence had.
The fact that Existence, again, start a fight well, start good pressure into the enemy backlines, and don't have any follow-up is really hurting them. And I want to see that shift. I want to see that change. I want to see these fights start, yes, with Chiquitin opening up with the Redwood Rush from Jauki, and then I want to see the backline damage come out. And I don't think I've yet seen an Exuberance that's been well positioned.
There needs to be a follow-up there. I mean, Royds is going to try and escape right now. He is not going to be able to do that, but there needs to be the follow-up in these fights. Now, Chiquitin's going to give his life for it. Maybe Bamboo and Blue Triton can clean this up, but Randoom is already on the escape. Now, Restless has the rest of the team there. Sizer will be able to get him out of there with the Hurricane Wall. Doesn't quite do it. Not perfect positioning on that, but look at the wind cuffs. Blue Triton is going to be there. One more auto attack, the Rain of Fire, and that is it.
Look at that
kills.
Duo. Every single time this duo, this Annette Ignis gets set up, you're stunned, you're slowed, and you're in a Rain of Fire, and it hurts.
Oh, man. I mean, I feel like Johnny Cash sang about that once, and it was no fun at all. Juki's going to be able to do some split pushing through all of this, finding something for his team, but they have yet to get really a big fight in the books for them. Existence needs to build some momentum in this game.
And Blue Triton Zephyrs, it was a bit of a gamble. I didn't quite agree with it. You're seeing he's so underfarmed here. This is really hurting them. In that last fight in particular, he did almost no damage. If he does come online now, we're looking towards the late game. And as a reminder, both these team average game times are sub 15 minutes. They play quick AoV, And that means that if we get towards the late game, I'll be surprised.
Well, not only that, I think the Dead Rabbits comp scales way better than Existences does as well. I don't think this helps them going to the late game. So let's watch for that. The Nature's Realm to start things off from Jauki. There's Blue Triton there on the flank. He's able to snipe that, but now Clamaris is joining the fray as well. Bamboo already half health.
Oh, that's good.
Rush. There's the
that's good.
There's the combo that they needed. Now Sizer is in full retreat. That was what Existence wanted in that fight, TJ.
Finally. It took, what, 3-4 fights?
Yeah,
but they got it.
They finally got that. They finally got the death from above off the back of a Redwood Rush with the exuberance on top, and that's the Wombo.
And they finally get Sizer as well down below the bottom tower, picking up the kills, and it'll just be Restless to hold this mid tower.
And I like the fact that they're trying to commit onto this. Bamboo needs to not over... Arduin's just so tanky.
Yeah, trying be the operative word, because Restless does not care. He's just going to stand there and take the hits. And Existence don't get a whole lot off in that one team fight.
We would love to have converted a tower. At least they did get the dragon. Zephys came in and was able to snipe that. I think he actually initiated on that. Just dealt a lot of his initial damage. The fact they still had enough to follow up on these fights is huge. Beautiful ghost walk there.
He has nowhere to run.
He has nowhere to run, but Blue Triton should have backed him up.
That will be death from above. There's the engage. There's the damage. Finally, Blue Triton managing to win these fights for his team.
That's exactly what we need. We talked about how under-farmed he was going into this. Now he's starting to recover that a little bit here. Now going forward 2-2, bringing a lot more items online. We'll be keeping an eye on his stats throughout as they're now rotating into the mid here. Alex B's going to be the target, highly immobile there on that Ignis. But he's able to back out just in time.
And Blue Triton is now going to start shifting towards the front line. If he builds as I expect him to, you can see that Mantle of Ra coming in for a little bit more armor. I'd expect him to go for a frontline character. Not a tank, but someone who can take a little bit more sustain up front. Then they can find the follow-up. Jauki in particular is going to scale very well for HP with the Nature's Realm, and it's going to be on Bamboo to be the vast majority of the team's damage during these team fights. I think if they can get that more Death Bully sort of core into the backlines, it can work well because there is a squishy presence, but it's all on getting past Restless on the Arduin.
He is really going to be that frontliner there for his team. Sizer as well to help, ping-pong everybody around that Hurricane Wall that has to be landed perfectly. We saw a slight misplay up in the top lane that actually cost Arduin his life, not perfectly sealing off that choke point. These Hurricane Walls need to be perfect because Existence is looking good right now. Starting to find some momentum as Dead Rabbits is pushing in here towards this Abyssal Dragon. They're going to look to try and snipe this out. Restless being the front line. Chickyton's there, but not as tanky as he needs to be. The rest of the team is rotating in. There's Blue Triton, the Nature's Realm as well, but Blue Triton getting chunked to start things off. He has to escape as we do see the pickup onto the Chognar. Immediately, Great Red Rush, but they heal to negate it instantly. The follow-up is there, but Dead Rabbits is still alive. Look at the Hurricane Wall to separate Bamboo. No exuberance for you, dear sir. Perfectly played from Dead Rabbits.
That duo is so good. How do you play around the duo that can just punish you for committing as a team? They have so much AoE damage, and Existence's answer to team fights is to group up. They want Chickatin, Blue Triton, Bamboo, Jauki to all exist within the same space as a grouped up unit, and the second they do that, Alex P and Sizer have a field day.
They do have a field day. You know what's having a field day right now? It's Randoom, because all the while he is farming like crazy. Picked up one dragon right before the 10-minute mark. Bamboo is going to survive a little bit longer. No, finally get out with the heal. Alex P is going to trade for him. Restless is there, not wanting to overcommit on this dragon. Now Dead Rabbits is going to rotate through to the mid. Chickatin going to back right up right now, but Blue Triton is still trying to fight with Randoom here. This is a mistake, dear sir. Restless joins in the fray. He's trying to survive, sustain, but no, he can't trade.
Almost, but almost doesn't count here. And I feel that's how team fights all need to start. It needs to start with that Ignis being picked up, or with that Annette being picked up. Because
the Annette is such a hard counter to the Jinnar.
Yeah, every single team fight where they've tried to go in as a grouped unit, that Alex P. Sizer duo has worked so well. They've been completely shut down.
It's amazing because Existence wants to group up. They want to follow their Jinnar. They want to follow, their Yebeneth. But that is where Alex P's like, thanks, group up for us. It's fantastic. Come on in, boys. I got the Hearthwarm for you.
But the holy embers are waiting.
They are. Let's roast some marshmallows or roast the corpses of your opponents, depending on the context.
I feel like those are very different things.
Yeah, context.
All right. Chickatin and Jauki will play around the Abyssal Dragon, trying to secure a little bit of awareness. They kite it back a few times, cause it to reset. Now they know Dead Rabbits are going in. They'll call for the full team rotate.
And we are seeing the rotation party win just a little bit ahead of the Marja, so watch for this as these fights break out. Jiaoqi is just not tanky enough at all right now. The Nature's Realm is going in, but Random trying to commit the drone drop. Over commits onto Bamboo. He survives. That sustainability is exactly what they need now. Alex B on the flank, forced to flicker out. Rest is rotating in, though the Arduin is going to be there, and Jiaoqi is already solo. Look at the rain of fire coming in there, as now Royd's rotating in way too late. The rest of Existence needs to back up right now, but a small benefit. At least the Dragon is leashed. Dead Rabbits is still in a dominant position.
If you can convert that Sacred Flame mark with a Fire Crash, you get a stun. And we see there exactly how powerful that is, as Alex P is able to kite 3 members, all trying his best to shut him down.
Woo! Well, he gets shut down, and also is able to take out Bamboo right there, getting the Exuberance back off cooldown, and at least Existence was able to deny the Dragon for now.
They deny the Dragon, they deny the Ignis life, I guess, but they lose a tower for it, and this Dragon should be picked up relatively easily.
Chiquitin, 1 drone drop, half the health gone. The Enraged Abyssal Dragon, though, it hurts hard. People need to be careful not to underestimate this. They were going to pull it back, finally do pick it up. That is a massive buff for Dead Rabbits. However, they might have committed a lot of health to do this. I almost kind of wish Existence would collapse on that.
I don't think they could, not with the members they had nearby. Amarja just doesn't have enough damage this early in the game. You can see her build as well, a little bit more sustain-focused. I'm kind of surprised by that. And I'll be interested to see if maybe late game, when the Marja puts it all together, it's worth it.
We're going to see how that, plays out, because really we need to see more damage coming from the Marja. Right now it's all on the Bamboo train, but it hasn't been quite impactful enough, as they have just enough mobility from Existence to keep him from getting that truly dominant Exuberance.
The Ignis. Remember how we were talking about how much sustain he has using those combos? I think, if I'm not mistaken, he's building a little bit of lifesteal right now. So that's going to get more scary, not less. This Ignis sustain is going to be terrifying. If Existence want to win a fight, it needs to start with a pick onto Alex P.
That needs to be the key target here for Existence. As nice wind cuffs on there on the high ground. Royd's forced to burn the Ghost Walk immediately. Now Restless is here on the flank. The follow-up with the stun as the tower is getting chunked down. Blue Triton is trying to flank, trying to split the team. Nice death from above, but he gets picked off immediately. Is there going to be a follow-up? There's the Redwood Rough, the Nature's Realm. Over committal right now. Bamboo is on the flank, but not able to get Clamaris. Sizer might pay for it, though. Yes, he does go down, but that is already a 3-for-1.
What is this 1-by-1 team fight from Existence? A complete collapse of team play. And frankly, it's embarrassing Sizer went down to that. That should have been an easy fight for Dead Rabbits.
That looked a little bit sloppy from both sides there, as we do start to see Dead Rabbits focus on this macro a little bit more. Look at these Rain of Fires. Juki's he's just not nearly tanky enough.
The Holy Embers and Rain of Fire at the same time, both his AoE damage abilities onto a member who's already marked by the Sacred Flame. That hurts.
Every single thing about that just spells easy kills for Dead Rabbits.
Welcome to the Ignis meta, Paul.
Oh,
I hope
I'm just
you'll
fine
enjoy
with
your
that.
time
Look,
here.
I am A-okay with that. Ignis looks sick. He's
Watch his wave clear here.
And it's done. And it's done. Easy peasy.
The key part is his Fire Crash, that big AoE burst of flame. That resets really quickly now. So early laning phase, he dominates.
Yeah, we saw that earlier now, but in this fight, and Bamboo has got to be the target. Sizer trying to split the fight there with the Hurricane Wall. Nice reinitiation there with the death from above, and Sizer does actually drop through all of that. So Existence actually doing a pretty good job starting this fight. Kriknak is on the flank. Good look to try and pick him up. Facing off against the Zephys. Zephys will able to get that kill, but on the back of this now, Juki is the target as the rest of Dead Rabbits is still fighting. Clamaris needs to secure this kill. Can he find the snipe? No, he does not. And now it is Alex P on the flank and trying to pick up Blue Triton, who's been such a threat through all of this.
Been such a threat through all the game, maybe, but not throughout all of that fight. Half that fight, he was just sitting in a bush watching his team do work. I'm not sure
He did do some chasing.
I don't know what the communication is for Existence right now, because that was another sloppy team fight where they were committing 1-by-1, and it obviously showed, and it did not pay off, and they were not able to grab a kill on an isolated Alex P, who had almost no defenders near him.
So what happened was the fight ended up splitting. Blue Triton chased down Randoom, and Randoom felt comfortable knowing that the rest of his team had the damage there with the Joker, that they could continue to take that fight. That was just strictly a misplay there. Blue Triton needed to be with the team. Alex P, no mana, no health, no problems as Existence as they pick up the kill. Chiquitin is trying to secure this final one onto Clamaris, but that was not the call, dear sir. Forced to solo heal to try and escape, and he's not even going to do it.
No, easily picked up by Random on the flank position. And again, Existence aren't with the player running for their life. They're not creating a distraction. They're just kind of hovering. And 3v4 in this position, they can't take the fight. They need to back up, despite getting their win condition for fights. Remember, we said you have to shut down Alex P. They do. Then they overcommit, lose a player, and everything they've done is undone.
Helicopter Mom, that is Existence, not finding a whole lot of success here despite getting that key kill. They're hovering.
It's a helicopter. Oh, I get it. Well done. All right, sure.
Well, it's maybe more of maybe more, never mind. As Existence, they need to try and find a more cohesive team fight because they just lost that high ground tower. At least it is in the mid, so it'll be a little bit easier to clean that up. But they've only taken one tower in this entire game, and now Dead Rabbits is starting the Dark Slayer.
Existence, what are you doing? They have no control. They're just hovering in the jungle, and well, they're about to be shut down.
We're gonna look for a great bush gang, guys. It'll be oh, no, they took the oh right, that's on the map.
Yeah. 30 seconds until Dark Slayer at the time, or Abyssal Dragon. Maybe they were worried about the rotate through, but frankly, they shouldn't have been.
Should be worried about this Drake right now, which can be pushing in, as well as the follow-up shots from the Jokers. Blue Triton's just stuck through all of that damage, already forced to retreat. That was mostly just from the Annette, as now Juki is going in, trying to get this. The Nature's Realm is there. The Exuberance from Bamboo, but he's already half health. There's the Hurricane Wall to split the fight once again. Perfectly executed in both form and function. Dead Rabbits is going off.
Alex P just burned through a Nature's Realm.
That was insane. The damage was there, and now they're going in on the core. That is going to be game one. GG, Dead Rabbits take the game.
And just like that, the Dead Rabbits secure themselves a Game 1 victory on the back of the prerequisite knowledge of international play. Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to the desk. My name is Jump. I'm joined here with TJ and Viram. You said it at the very beginning, Dead Rabbits, their strategy revolves around researching the international scope, researching the international meta. They have done just that with the composition and executed to perfection.
Yeah, we said what they did that gave them so much control at the beginning of the season was they learned some of the more international metas and they adapted them to play within Europe. And many European teams were not ready for that. Again,
clearly.
They've done that, and there was no answer from Existence. They came into this game to play standard EU AOV, and they got hit by a hurricane wall coupled with a Holy Embers.
It was just disgusting. Sizer was there every single time Bamboo wanted to do anything.
And one thing we didn't talk about nearly enough during the game was Clemers. The Joker just quietly scaled so well.
Chilling in the back.
Towards that last fight, every single one of his rockets was doing like half HP onto some of the more tanky members of the team. That was insane.
I still have to say that if you think about all of this entire game, it's one word that comes to mind: fire. Fire is literally it. Whether it be the fire coming from Ignis and the entirety of his abilities, or the fire that was burning in the house of their opponents in Existence.
I thought that was going to go in a very different direction.
No, it's okay. Don't worry about it.
Okay.
Let's go ahead and take a look back at the replay that we have here, AT&T replay to be exact, and show you guys some of the greatness that you have of Dead Rabbits. More importantly, the, I guess you could say, overzealous nature of Existence.
So this was just like a one-by-one commit. Then Zhaoki uses his Nature's Realm, and they completely ignore it because there is no follow-up. Bamboo, again, overcommits. Sure, they get a kill onto Sizer. That was just his mispositioning. And the rest of Dead Rabbits realize, wait a second, they just spent literally all of their ultimates one by one, and now we can quite easily shut them down. Watch this Zhaoki ult. It's just going to get shut down. He gets melted through a Nature's Realm. That is insane damage coming through to achieve that.
That shouldn't happen. And really watching some of these fights, it's almost like Existence wasn't on comms.
Yeah, that's what I was saying almost all game. They're one-by-one team fights. Their engages just looked sloppy in a way that I would love to say doesn't look like Existence, but the honest truth is it looks like the bad Existence, because there are two of them. And good Existence excels at team play, excels at set executes, and I wonder almost if maybe it's just kind of a tilt factor. Maybe as a team they get frustrated when games go awry, and they get thrown off their game.
Well, we've been talking about this kind of throughout the entirety of the season of which existence is going to show up the same way of which Dead Rabbits is going to show up. Bamboo, in a lot of those instances, felt like he needed to be the spark. He needed to be the one that could help his team. But flickering in with the Jinnar just didn't necessarily have it when he seemed didn't have the follow-up. But now we find ourselves back into the lightning round, a.k.a. the new draft phase with the latest patch update. Existence finds themselves on the blue. Dead Rabbits finds themselves on the red. Pura, Malik, and Crest banned away immediately. Same bans from the last game. Do the bans change for the final one here with Existence?
Existence are behind, and it shows.
Yeah.
Because that Pura ban, maybe game 1, you're so worried about Pura Jinnar, you ban it out versus Dead Rabbits. Valid research. Game 2, you had bigger fish to fry.
And her name was Annette. There we go.
I'm very happy that they get that ban. That needed to happen. Now let's look at the Dead Rabbits ban. The number one thing they did was get rid of the Cricknack. That's very good on the second position. Noticeably, Lindis is still on the board. I'd expect her to come through if she's not banned, because she is the best ranged marksman still available.
I am really looking towards that as well. Violet is still on the board, though not quite as strong, as we previously mentioned. Lindis, you're on board the Lindis train. It only took another update to get you there, TJ. Well, welcome aboard.
Thank you.
Oh.
Ooh, Existence. First pick Jinnar, maybe against... Maybe against Dead Rabbits, you feel that that's a good choice. Maybe you feel that you can make your own comfort picks work, but let's talk update again. Roxy, her Agni's Grasp is now impossible to break. So if she lands an Agni's Grasp, you're almost guaranteed to be dead. I think that's a very good first round pickup.
However, you take a look at what you have from their second pick in Irie, you have felt like this is somebody that has kind of fallen, or that could potentially fall down the mark, though they still decide to pick her up.
I do think the Irie is less effective this patch. One thing I'm keeping an eye on here is Alex P. He does have that Ignis. We saw how effective it was. The question is, how much of that Ignis did he feel was him? How much of that Ignis was the fact that they had this setup from the Annette? That's a very, very lethal duo. Do you have that here game 2?
That's going to be the big question. And once again, we're seeing Randoom forwardly solo queue victim on his Slims, a hero he's excelled at, and Mina being picked up, taking a little bit of, I would say, follow-up from the NA region there, which is pretty solid.
Would that work well with the Ignis? Because I bet
it would. It would. The Dark Dominion with the Ignis there as well. I mean, look at the draft that Existence is building, though. Look at the tankiness. Look at the sustainability. Look at the engage and CC coming in from this. I mean, this
is a good draft from Existence.
This is a good draft from Existence.
Much better than game 1, certainly. The problem is, again, a whole bunch of this composition revolves around grouping. And say hello to Ignis, because he's coming out. Because they first drafted Jinnar, the Ignis doesn't need to be picked until the last pick. They get the guaranteed setup for him. And I really like this setup. With the Mina, with the Slims, his engage tools, you're going to have so many grouped enemies. Even if it wasn't Existence's win condition, given that they're running a more grouped comp, given that they're running a composition that needs to stay together, I think this may be game 1 all over again.
I do still have to say, though, Clamaris it's going to be very important for him to ensure that he's playing this Irie 2 better perfected. Because of the nerfs, she's not able to dominate the lane phase. She's not able to dominate the way that she did in previous patches. As a result, this is going to mean that he's going to have to take some out of the Latin American book and understand the concept of flanking, understanding what and the importance it is of joining these team fights late. Because if he just goes in full front, he's going to be staring right down the face of a Wonder Woman and a Zenio, which is not what you want to be seeing if you're an Irie.
One of the larger nerfs for me was that the Irie's ultimate no longer stuns for nearly as long. So I think she's a lot weaker as an engage tool, which may be what they're looking for her to be.
So watch for this Ryu to just not be as effective, as you said, not having the long... It was a beastly stun, too. That AoE is just like, you get in there, find the flanks. But I agree, they need to channel their inner Angra in this one and find those flanks, because you are not getting through a Zenio Wonder Woman. It just ain't happening.
So now, taking a look at what we've seen from Existence when they are succeeding, TJ, I want to spend a moment on this because they did walk away with the strong draft. That is, we do not want to discount that by any means. And I know that's something we are highlighting. When Existence is doing well, when Existence is succeeding, what tools are they able to utilize specifically to their advantage?
I think their team play is very good. When they're on point, their macro game is one of the better ones in EU. They very much understand how to make rotates happen. And that may be what they need to make happen here, because I don't think they have a great teamfight comp still. They've got a lot of sustain, but if they group up, it may be over.
Well, it might be over indeed, as Dead Rabbits is one win away from punching their ticket to Brazil and securing themselves a spot in the regional finals.
Can they make it happen here? We're about to find out once again. Alex P, our player to watch for Dead Rabbits, has secured himself that Ignis, the hero he dominated with in game number 1. He'll need to step up here again if he wants to make it happen for his team.
Let's talk, if we can, about that support, because the support play game number 1 from Sizer was legitimately part of the reason they won. He ended on the Annette with 25% damage, the same as the Ignis that was doing so much damage. Game 2, he doesn't have nearly as much damage, and already we're seeing a little bit less in the support category.
We are seeing, though, a great initiation there from Random. The follow-up, the spear from the bush to take down the key member. That is Bamboo. What a start for the Rabbits. They baited him back perfectly. Oh, Chase after us. The spear over the shoulder from the bush. Bamboo did not see it coming. Blindsided.
We talked about macro. Did you see that rotate from the Slims, being able to join the fight halfway through? Random arrives as soon as he's summoned, finds the Flying Spear stun, and then instantly they have more than just that stun, and more importantly, for me at least, they fall back as well.
Yeah, they don't overcommit, and that's something we really have to watch for. Dead Rabbits has really stepped up their game from the last time we've seen them.
This is a much more aggressive Dead Rabbits. I feel like they definitely thrive when they feel like they have a game plan going in. And the amount of research they do, the amount of pre-planning they do has always been their strength. Weeks where that felt like it folded off were definitely weeks where they lost.
Yeah, they have had weeks, again. Both of these teams are inconsistent, and we are seeing the peak of Dead Rabbits and sort of the lower end of Existence right now. But Existence will need to step up right here. If they allow this first Abyssal Dragon to go over to Dead Rabbits and carry that momentum, they are going to be in trouble. Blue Triton needs to dish this damage right now. Royd's on the flank as well. Doesn't have level 4. Now he does. But still, the Dragon sniped by Existence.
Two things to watch here. Blue Triton is going to scale very, very well. I'm a big fan of Lindis this patch. I think he's going to be doing a scary amount of damage. Other thing to watch for me, this Aurum with Snare, we're talking about the burst. If you try and burst through an Aurum who's snared your ally's going down as well. So if Chickatin's able to land major snares, we know he's a very good support player. That could turn these fights around.
Yeah, we need to watch for that here. Snare, an ability that can, as you say, just completely change a fight. So definitely keep an eye on that, running the support Aurum here. I'm a big fan of this. Build her a little bit, you know, you can still build her fairly tanky. The sustainability is there, but really it's all about the idea of trading up, finding that key target in the stairs. Look towards the top lane, actually, right now, towards the Slayer. Slims is rotating in. Random not quite able to find that. A pretty hard commitment for both teams moving towards the side of the map.
Dead Rabbits brought their full force, like you said, and I think the idea was if they found a pick, they'd go for it. This, though, is a good initiation.
I love the commitment there, the flicker, the exuberance, the follow from the Snare. No hesitation from Bamboo. Fool me once, he says. This time, I'm going to fool you.
And now they have a rotate. Alex P needs to hold mid lane, and he's not nearly as scary yet, but you can still see that Holy Ember's ultimate terrifying the Existence members. I think they could have still taken that tower, but like the pure visual majesty of it,
it's like a mini cataclysm. There's like, oh no, I don't want to deal with that.
I would be terrified as well, and you could see it did a decent chunk of their damage. I would say about a fifth, which given how early we are is quite significant.
That is scary. I cannot believe how hard this Ignis is already hitting in this game. Bamboo, he's like, normally I'm supposed to be the one that hits hard. Exuberance is supposed to be the be-all, end-all ult. Well, not right now. Forced to use it just for defense, just for the damage reduction.
That chunk of HP he just took was with the damage reduction from Exuberance.
That is not ideal. We are seeing Royds going in with the braces of submission right there, trying to force back Clamaris to get that pick if he can as the next Abyssal Dragon spawns.
Because it spawned, it was worth that committal of the ultimate if he could have found a kill. He did not, however, which means now they're down in ult. Dead Rabbits are out for the Dragon.
Chickatin is going in. He's finding the key snare onto Randu, but not in time to get the kill. Nice Angelic Splendor coming in, but already a pick there for Dead Rabbits on the flank. Nice Ryu going into Juki. Bamboo with the Exuberance, but not able to follow up. The Uncage is keeping him slowed. Now Randoom is still here, throwing out the spears. The lifesteal from Chickatin is not enough.
And that was a devastating team fight. It opens with Blue Triton going down the second he's off the board. Existence have almost no early game damage.
He is really that key source of damage here, and now it gives Dead Rabbits a chance to not only get themselves a couple of kills, but even out this Dragon score.
will be it. Picked up to Dead Rabbits. That undoes any gold that had been built up by Existence. They're now sitting at a 1,000 gold lead. And as we touched on previously, this Ignis does not get less scary as the game goes on. And I would say the same's true of the Slims, especially with the shift in jungle items. He's going to be using Scorching Wind, a lot more spears, a lot more quickly, and they'll hit harder.
So watch for that as we get into the late game here. I'm really excited to see, you know, this truly, if we get to this point, the truly late game scary Ignis here. Again, just not a hero we get used to see. We've really seen it all in the Valor series or competitive AOV. So it's definitely somebody I'm excited about. I just love the fact that Alex P is not afraid to go in there, dish the damage in. He lives a little bit dangerously, we'll put it that way.
Yeah, Ignis does have a little bit of self-sustain. One of the combos, he's a very combo-focused character. Watch for the little flame mark above people's head.
Roids!
Oh, that's a big stun!
That was it forced the bait of the ult. Sorry to cut you off there, TJ, but he walked literally right into the spear.
That was a big stun to give up, and actually the stun length on Slims is now longer if you're caught at its farthest extent.
Which is, honestly makes sense. So,
but shorter if you're caught at the smallest extent. And the big change was that also the speed boost he gets from landing a flying spear now scales just like the stun always did.
I'm a big fan of that there as well. And also something to note, you're seeing these red shields above the towers now. Keep in mind that backdoor protection has changed for these, so if the minion wave is not there, oh man, that Dark Dominion though onto Bamboo. They don't even need minion, they're worried about it. We're just gonna keep going in. Roids is there on the flank, the nice snare onto Alex P, but not able to actually execute. Chicken is gonna go down as well. And that was just a beautiful setup play there from Dead Rabbits, all off the back of a great minion initiation. The Braceless submission there, but Sizer's not gonna go down. Restless being pulled back in from the lasso is gonna get picked. Nicely done, and a beautiful flicker there from Roids as well. But Jauki, one more auto, they do find it!
Let's talk about Alex P's character, because man, did it come out there. If he lands his combo well, he gets lifesteal. He gets a burst of HP. The key target is whether or not his target is marked. If they are marked, he can execute for either a stun or lifesteal, depending on which ability he uses. And the way you can tell if they're marked by that passive Sacred Flame is if they have that little V symbol above their head. It's like a flame little thing.
Very cool.
Thing.
Yeah.
Fiery.
Fiery, yeah. Which makes sense. He's a fire mage. Makes a whole lot of sense. We're going to talk about minion changes, tower backdoor, but no. Dead Rabbits in existence, like, no, we want to fight. That was a 6 setup there from Sizer. The initiation went in. That was a good little counter initiation from the Aurum. It was able to get the snare onto the key target, but his team just wasn't in range, all because Sizer is doing such a good job peeling for it. It is now another Abyssal Dragon for Dead Rabbits.
Existence.
For Existence, sorry.
That is massive because they get it. They undo a lot of the gold that was built up against them. Yes, they're still at a deficit. Yes, they still lose a tower, but I say that that's not actually a bad trade.
That was not bad. Roids is now under full. Oh, the dodge from Chimeras. The Angelic Splendor is here. He is still going to go down, but that was a sick play. Good commitment there with Zenial.
That was a good execute, but the problem is because that Angelic Splendor is cold, Dead Rabbits know they can grab this Dark Slayer. Because that gank came through in the bottom lane, this should be their Dark Slayer for almost uncontested.
It should be, but Bamboo is going in. They do end up getting the Dark Slayer, but Bamboo has done so much damage. We do have the Dark Dominion is there. Jauki, the rest of the crew are trying to follow up, but Lindis isn't in this fight. Their key source of damage isn't here, which means that they're just feeding over kills. Lindis is trying to split push, but it's not nearly enough because they've got the Dark Slayer. They're going to try and get 2 to 3 towers for it, but it might not be enough.
And the stun comes through as well. Random landing the Flying Spear and narrowly, but definitely winning the trade through the bush.
Oh no, that was huge. That Flying Spear from Random just completely turned this. What might have been an okay trade for Existence is now definitely not worth it.
Again, Existence with these staggered team fights. One player engaging completely separate from the rest over and over and over. And it costs them another tower here in the mid lane. And it may cost them another game here in Game 2.
I said this almost jokingly after game number 1. It's like they're not playing with voice comms. It's so strange. I have not seen this lack of communication from Existence ever.
It was Bamboo's strange decision to go in. You cannot 1v5, and you do not have allies that can double down on your engage, that can make your engage worth it.
Maybe if the Angelic Splendor was on cooldown, maybe they just sustained through
but
it.
But they just spent it.
Exactly, that's what I'm saying. Maybe if it was up, maybe if they are off cooldown, I should say. Maybe if they had that, toolkit, in the belt. I don't know. I'm not sure. That was just a very, very strange play from Existence.
The play was from Dead Rabbits was off of the back of the fact that they knew the Lindis Zenial duo was down in the bot lane.
Uh-oh,
So
there's the Agnes grasp,
oh,
though.
that did land.
It did land on a Jauki. They are pulling him back right now up top. He's for oh,
Goodbye.
no! Goodbye.
By the way, Ignis has stuns. I talked about that, right? So, no, you cannot Angelic Splendor out point blank against him. The Roxy finds the first Agnes grasp of this week's Valor series, and it finds a guaranteed kill as every Angelic Splendor from here on out, you should expect, sorry, Agnes Grasp, you should expect every time the Roxy lands the ultimate, they get a kill these days.
It's going to be very, very difficult. Oh, the pull over the wall onto Chikitin. They're trying to find the Uncaged going in, but he's now just in way too deep. There is the standard random to follow up from Bamboo. Nicely done, but Random is able to leap and escape, and through all of it, the damage coming in from that Ignis to secure the kill. Roids is trying to survive through it. Some damage has been done, but it's not enough. The mid tower falls as well. There's the Bally's going from Juki and Sizer on the flank, trying to look for the Death Side. Clamaris at the back. The spin is coming out as well, and another follow-up. Look at the rain of fire taking him on down as Sizer's looking to follow up Blue Triton as well, overextending for that kill. Gonna trade, but it's A-okay because the key damage dealers are still here.
Alex P hovers back, waits for the engage, ults, and the fight is theirs. That was excellent positioning.
That was massive. The question now becomes, do they have the damage to actually end this game? I believe they do. That is going to be it. Contrary to our expectations, Dead Rabbits come in a big way. They're gonna take it 2-0. They're going on to Brazil.
The spell was cast and fire rained down on their enemies as Dead Rabbits secured themselves a 2-0 victory over their opponent Existence, and this was exactly the moment we've all been waiting for. You alluded to it during our preparation this morning. You alluded to it at the beginning of today. It's all about the Ignis, and Dead Rabbits walk away with the win.
Yeah, like I said during the draft phase, Existence did not look ready for this patch. And Dead Rabbits, as a team that does research on other regions, I said it during my prediction, I should have stuck to that knowledge. They were ready, they came in with a draft from another region, they came in with an Ignis knowing exactly how powerful it would be, and Alex P rightfully gets an MVP.
That is, look at his stat line, that's massive.
Holy embers.
Holy embers, Batman. It was just crazy. Really solid play from him. And the fact that the team was actually able to back him up, I think that was the big part of it, because as much as his play was good, it was Sizer. Sizer, low-key MVP. His Annette play, fantastic. His Mina play,
yeah,
so solid. These Dark Dominions were huge, and even at the end, we saw it come out restless as like, heard you like them, the Agnes grasps.
Remember game one, Sizer was able to do 25% of the team's damage, equaling the Ignis on Annette.
Yep.
I've been saying that if you run a good Annette, you can do an insane amount of damage and do nuts control at the same time.
Well, it's not just that, but it's when you have everyone together that's doing their job and doing it well. We can take a look back at our AT&T replay of the game and show exactly what happens when, you just win the video game.
That, exactly. So watch this full engage come through. Again, it's a little bit staggered. Chicken goes in first, Bamboo flickers his follow, and Alex P just watches. He kites back, he spends the holy embers, and all of that damage comes through the entire time. Random's kiting, Roids is finally able to shut him down, but it's bad target prioritization from Existence. Focus the mage with the big fire thing. Focus the rabbit with the big spears. Shut them down before you take the team fight against their tanks, because that's basic AoV, and it was lacking from Existence today.
The biggest issues with these fights, and we saw it in game number one, we saw it in game two, was the fact that when the fight broke out and Bamboo went in and everyone tried to follow him up, you saw Alex P and Random just back up. Whether it be the flicker, whether it be the escape, the leap, they got out. And then the rest of the team did such a good job of keeping them in place. They were never able to, and the fact that it was always one or two guys, it was never all five. It's only just one or two going in from Existence. And so like by the time they tried to overextend and chase, they're just dead.
Well, I'm excited to see now how this is going to continue to develop over the course of today and this weekend as a whole for week number 7. We've got Team Queso and Alliance coming up next. Are we going to see a potential of them having any sort of knowledge and research the way that Dead Rabbits have?
I think Dead Rabbits are far and away the most aggressively researched team in Valor series. Maybe Allegiance tie them, but it's almost not worth mentioning because Allegiance are already on top of their region, so they developed their own picks as well. But Dead Rabbits definitely are the team where they're not on top of the region, and yet they still do the research. They still draw aggressively other strategies from other regions, and it shows.
I think they maybe appreciate, while they're not necessarily the best in their region's meta is not the best either.
Yeah.
So they need to take some inspiration from elsewhere if they want to climb of people who just insist on doing their own thing, even if it's proved on a global stage not to be the best.
Well, when you find yourself backed up against a cliff, you either catch your footing and survive, or you fall down to a pit of doom. In this specific instance, Dead Rabbits held their footing and have secured themselves a trip to Sao Paulo, Brazil, and the regional finals. Now, with that being said, we are going to kick ourselves to a short little break, and when we return, it's Team Queso that is ever so closely going to be climbing themselves up to the regional finals, going up in Alliance right after this.
Week 6 of the Valor series saw pitch battle as teams strove to secure their top 4 spots and guarantee their place at Sao Paulo. Our first match pitched Queso versus Existence. With a lot on the line, these teams went all out in a back-and-forth brawl. Game 1 started with Existence taking an early lead. They controlled the pace well, but were unable to take a crucial high ground tower. Queso capitalized on a sloppy Darkslayer play, staggering kills and pushing their way to a victory in an epic comeback. Game 2 once again saw a strong early game for Existence, with great Slayer lane play and taking key objectives. This time, however, they didn't make mistakes. They rode over Queso in a quick game and split the series 1-1, leaving that 4th place spot still hotly contested. Match 2 saw Dead Rabbits taking on Nova Esports. At what point, Dead Rabbits were going toe-to-toe with Nova. At the start of the season, they looked like the team that might be able to dethrone the EU overlords. But it was not meant to be. Nova have shown that while they are not invincible, they are still the top of Europe. They take a perfect Game 1 and a dominant Game 2 to win the series 2-0. Day 2 started with a match that many may have pegged as having a clear favorite, but Queso showed that their place in the standings isn't the whole story. Both games were slugfests, with alternating moments of aggression and hyper-conservative play. Queso did a fantastic job of holding back the late-game pushes of Bubble Team, getting key picks, which stopped them from capitalizing on Dragon or Slayer advantage. Both games went over 20 minutes, with the Bubble Team just barely able to eke out the win. Queso made some crucial late-game mistakes, creating openings for Bubble Team to exploit. They very nearly had this series, though, and the rest of EU should definitely be on notice. Our second Day 2 match was a proving ground for Alliance, a question of whether the roster could perform without their star player, Rez. Existence have had their ups and downs over the course of the season, and this was a must-win match for them to secure the 4th place spot in the standings. Alliance were not going down without a fight, bringing both games late and showing that they have not lost their fighting spirit. The return of Oxy did wonders for the team, having a solid jungler the team could work around. It wasn't enough to stop Existence from taking both games, but it certainly showed that the Alliance is not dead yet. While other regions are shaking out, solidifying their standings, Europe is still a battleground, with the final remaining spots still up for grabs.
We just saw ourselves with Dead Rabbits using the prowess and knowledge of the international regions across Arena of Valor and securing themselves a spot in the regional finals. Welcome back to the desk. We find ourselves here in the European block, and unfortunately, Alliance could not find themselves a starting roster that would allow them to play. That will then mean that Team Queso will walk away with the 2-0. Now, with that being said, of course, we just saw Dead Rabbits, the 2-0 over Existence. Seeing how that plays out in the standings now kind of makes things a little shaky, as Nova, Bubble Team, and Dead Rabbits have now secured themselves a spot in the regional finals, but things are still alive as Existence and Team Queso still find themselves with matches left to play.
Yeah, so this is something we have to keep an eye on here going into tomorrow. All this kind of stuff. There's a lot. The math breaks out a little bit weird. but know that it's still very interesting now because Queso has the potential, with Existence losing this, to actually upset Existence in that 4th place spot. So that's something we have to keep an eye out for. Queso potentially coming in from being at the bottom of the standings to make it. What a Cinderella story.
They've made such a run these last few weeks. If they can, I think this is, if they 2-0 Dead Rabbits tomorrow, then they are the 4th place team.
Yes, I believe so.
Which is insane, because they've gone from a team with absolutely no hope. They spent almost the entire season not living up to the potential that we set up for them. And then they've just been taking a few games recently and eking their way back in with Alliance's forfeit today. I don't actually think it changes the result. My prediction was going to be 2-0 to Team Queso. So I actually think that Team Queso are in with a shot, especially against a Dead Rabbits team that has looked weak against them in the past. Remember, this is a regional matchup, and it's a regional matchup the Dead Rabbits consistently lose. Team Queso was one of the best teams in that Spanish region. If they go head-to-head, yeah, sure, Dead Rabbits looked sick today. They were pulling out all these weird new compositions from other regions. Team Queso saw that. They're not going to be taken completely blindsided by them. And I think they have an answer due to their region-specific comp.
But you still have to give credit to Dead Rabbits and the prowess that they were able to show today. As a result, our MVP of the European region is going to go to none other than Mr. Alex P. himself. You highlighted him at the beginning of the broadcast, and what better way to give him that with the Ignis play that he had in our last matchup.
That was insane.
To be fair, Sizer also made a strong case for the MVP, but you have to give it to the flashy play of Alex, bringing out a hero that not a lot of people maybe have a lot of experience on. So not only did he have to come in, practice up this new hero, he made it look good. He comboed with his team, and that's why he absolutely deserves that MVP.
And it's interesting because Ignis isn't an easy character to just pick up. He's definitely a tech-focused character. He's a combo-focused character in a way that almost none of the other mages are. I'd say maybe Liliana players will have a little bit of an easier time on him. But you definitely, if you wanted to play Ignis this update, they probably said to him pre-update when Ignis was still rubbish, get used to Ignis. Because this is going to be very important coming into the patch.
Those games would have sucked to practice too, because he would have been very good.
I am almost sure they did
guys,
that.
Can you duo queue with me? I need to learn Ignis. He's about to be really good. It's not gonna
You're solo queuing that one, buddy.
It's like me and my Gilder. He's about to be good. The point is...
We thought he was going to.
The point is, Alex P absolutely had to pre-flatten this and put a lot of work into pulling out an Ignis here, and I respect the amount of effort and dedication that had to go into a preset strategy to win this game.
Well, they're going to walk away with a victory, and that's then going to do it, though, for everything that is Europe in day number 1. Don't forget, while we do find ourselves in week number 7, there is still lots of spicy action to be seen, as well as a lot to be catching up on. Valor Series esports.com gives you everything from the schedule, the standings, as well as...
All right, guys, that's like I said, the reason why I do this is they don't stream this on YouTube or Twitch. You only can watch it on Facebook, and it's on Saturdays and Sundays. I don't know the start times, but I know it's early morning, and they always start out in the same order: EU, Latin America, North America. So I'm doing this because I want people to learn, and if you notice, my channel has turned pretty much into Arena Valor only, and I have, I show videos, I show the spotlight videos, I talk about strategies and synergies and all that stuff, and while learning, I'm teaching. So, yeah, early game monster, definitely. So I hope you guys continue to come back and continue to learn. And we are recruiting for the guild that we have in Arena Valor. It's called Vanquishers. It's VANQUISHERS. Don't know how to spell that, you can Google Vanquishers. What I'm going to do is see if the Latin America is usually around 1 hour to 1:30 because they're really good over there. They like to do a lot of invading. So their matches tend to end earlier than usual. I'm going to check right now actually, what their timers are on that. And then I'll stream either that or start ranking up. Because I think I'm gold 2 now, almost gold 1. I think I'm 2 games from gold 1. Let's see. Yeah, it just showed you. Yeah, it just showed you EU. Latin America is almost 2 hours. I watched it. Latin America, you learn a lot from. They're very good at invading. I think I'm gonna play the Latin America. So I'm gonna stop the stream, load up the Latin America stream. Don't forget we have a Discord too. You can join. You could play it on emulator. It works rather well on an emulator. The game is really fun. But I'm gonna go ahead and play Latin America because I just love watching Latin America. If you want to learn how to invade, and a lot of good rotation, Latin America got it down. So let me stop this. I'll be back in no less than like 3 minutes. Just gonna change the title, set up Latin America, and we'll get going. Be right back. Nah, our guild is NA. Guild is NA. Be right back, guys.